This is RTTI in New York City, and this is PMP1, a.k.a. Sistah Saroja's series, Ep.6. So basically what we're going to do is pass the floor right over to Sistah Saroja. She has something she wants to share in regards to her latest video with the, I'm trying to find the right word to describe these so-called quote-unquote people out there in India targeting her with directed energy weapons, basically microwaving / baking her legs, her calf muscles in her legs. All right, her latest video depicts and shows, her having to literally wrap sticky tape from the top part of where her knee begins all the way down to her ankle. And she also wraps it with other things as well, which she will explain herself when she has the floor, which she will about to have it in a few seconds. In regards to that, we're going to also talk about an interesting topic that came up recently in the United Nations, where Professor Niels Elsker came out and was talking about the whole thing, between the psychosocial torture that is being done to many people, including us, obviously, targeted individuals throughout the world, and their definitions of it. We're going to talk about those things and possibly more. Sistah Saroja, you have the floor.
Thanks, R.T. I'm Saroja, currently staying in India. I was in US for quite some time. So I've been targeted because of the targeting. I moved from US to India. Even then, the targeting has continued. Targeting is really a real phenomenon. This is the government is doing it. The neighborhood people are participating in it. The people who are not targeted, they have no clue about it. But the people who are targeted, they are hunted for their life 24/7 using, invisible radiations. They can be termed as like neural weapons or bioweapons or radio frequency weapons. These are the things, the energies that they use are the microwaves, ultrasound, infrared, X-rays, radioactive material, those kind of part of the sun spectrum are being used. Do all that they, do 3 or 4 types of damages. One is called a directed energy weapon that you may have heard of. The same energies that I talked about, they direct them. It's a simple physics phenomena, and they hold particular energy, and that are very harmful to people, either person, either body. They literally influence our, mind or the particular organ or our body, that kind of stuff. So these days, the war has gone on back into the individuals, fighting the individuals globally. Any individual, it crosses the barriers of the nations, because these things are done using the satellites or some perpetrator who can really not trace. They are there because work in a syndicated way, so you cannot. So I can see not every now and then I can spot who that person is, but in the end you cannot do anything about it. And even if you have that proof and you go to the government and they are not acknowledging that, not taking it. So for that matter, my recent video that I have done is about how they are breaking my legs. The legs, knee below, they are baking a lot. Occasionally they have done the knee above, and they were like thighs are very, very, very hard that I had seen. Right. They had not showed me. I didn't make glimpse that what they're doing. So what happens is that there is this mind or the conscious hijacking when I sleep. The second I sleep, I lay down. I give the rest to my brain. A lot of about the thinkings of the day. When I lay down, they hijack. As a result, whatever they do from that point of time, until and unless they give my memory back or my conscious back, I wouldn't know what all they have done. But this leg breaking, someday, they really want to hype it up. At that time, they do torture us without making us conscious. So that time you feel it. And you are, basically you are forced to experience that torture. Though they are torturing to take the lives away sooner than before, than our lifetime. So they are hunting for our death. They do it very well. Actually, so our body, they are decaying our body one way or the other. They tackle it from different angles or different perspectives. So the damages are done onto the body. So this one, what they're doing like every day for me is that my legs, the knee below, they are targeted. Meaning they are constantly, there's some kind of air or something, it burns my skin. Meaning my skin can feel that there is like a fire around. I'm in the fire. That sort of thing. That literally the outside skin is. It's not that it burns quickly. It burns and it tries to stay away or like it shrinks. That kind of burning feeling is there. And so I know that they're using energy. It's not that it's just my feeling that it's not happening. No, they are doing that, and they, irrespective of whether I'm moving, whether I'm sitting, whether I'm standing, or in the home or outside somewhere in the government office or in the market, in the airplane, doesn't matter. They are capable of doing all this. So they have perfected that one. So in the home, continuously they have this. And always trying to find a way how to stop it, how to block it. And sometimes when they point at some body part, they are after it all the time. So it hurts. What happens? So the nerves over there they become numb. And sometimes, say, if they hit my head, it could be just few seconds and the very intense pain of the beam that they give. Based on how much deep they are going in, that I could feel, the skull will kind of bump out. That part of the skull in a few seconds, it will be a little bit, overall bumping out, not like a one round bump of 1 mm or 1 centimeter, not like that. The entire this thing, it will try to cover. So, meaning they have perfected how much in which organism they pierce in, how fast they pierce in, and that I, see the effect. So, in other words, the perpetrators, the criminals, are these military-grade torturers. They have the capability to manipulate the bones. Our bones, my facial bones, they always manipulate. The cheekbones, they always manipulate. They do all kinds of tortures. The beams can be just a little scratchy, or is very in-depth scratchy, or you want to peel your skin off and you just need to scratch, that sort of a feeling they do. So I already mentioned there are those 3 kinds of working. And I think there's a spectrum picture that I would like to send to RT, where it can show you what radiation does, what kind of a damage. For the medium part, they have particular energy that does that. That's what they beam on, and that's why we scratch. So that's that. So that one they do to my legs here and there. When they have done it, initially it's just like a scratch or something, and then later on they keep on beaming 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, and sometimes the way they do is, they started with a very slow, very slow. I feel a little thing, but then I'm busy with doing something else, and I'm not doing anything there. And remember that pierces through whatever I have, whether I have put a few layers of socks or the clothing, doesn't matter. It pierces through and it touches me, and I feel it. But then I become numb for it very far, and they keep at it, regardless whether I move. So this biologically, they lock it up. And so they do it for a long time, and it's gone piercing. It could be the blood could be coming out, or pulling out, basically, not pulling out, pulling out. The damage would be high. And remember, when they are doing this, they are also holding the air of burning. What happens? Though the blood is coming out, the wound is happening. They burn it up very quickly, so that if some fresh person comes, it's like, oh no, it might have happened yesterday, maybe a few hours ago, not right now, that sort of thing. So that wound goes on, and they do it today, they do it tomorrow, they do it day after tomorrow, right now. So then the scars will start happening. I mean, the tanning will start happening. I mean, I'm made to and so we have a melanin in our skin, and that becomes a dark spot. So right to that, and they keep burning over the same spot, and again and again and again and again. So it starts hurting and that kind of stuff. I can take a sticky tape and stick to it. If I take sticky tape, then whatever they're piercing, it cannot go through as much, and then I will be protected. But the thing is, it's the wound that they have made. I need to open it up for it to heal. And if I put a sticky tape, the healing won't happen. And even if I put a sticky tape, it will be just for some time. And when I've taken it out, guess what? They're at it. Meaning, it's a very automated procedure. Meaning, people who are denying these things are not happening, yeah, be my guest. And government is the one who is doing it. How do I say that? So after coming over here, because all these things were happening, so I individually I tried to complain, and the government, every department, they are like trying to put back on me and not say anything, or I can see that when I come there, they snatch my phone and stuff like that. Meaning the departmental abuse is going on, and they're behaving as though nothing has happened, and they don't want to let it go. That sort of thing. So I have gone to our legislative part, which is with the Hana South over here. They heard, but then when it passes back to the police department, they are not seeing, they are closing. In fact, the one case that I have done in Vidan, they have closed it. So I have done an RTI, but right information, so I'll be getting that information soon. So in some of the letters that in the legislature inquiry, that has come down to the area police station, and they asked me to come down and talk. It's been over a year, and again I went, and then now I'm going and asking for the results. What have they done? They have not done anything. So I decided to do RTI for them. I did the RTI, and that out. There's nothing in your file for what you have asked. They're saying. The high level, state level police, they have closed my case, and so did the neighborhood police station, they have closed. So now what to do? So that's the question. So now I have reached out to Home Ministry in India, Indian office in Delhi. And over there, they do take the calls, unlike this local state level, but they're passing, not as. It's been happening for about now 2 months that I've been reaching out every day and calling. And especially the grievances for the state. There is one officer called Bindu Tiwari, she's supposed to take. They have a system that they have put in where you have a portal where you put a complaint and they resolve it. And they're closing our cases, not just evidence, not even evidence. The same person takes it. And if I put it in a municipal department, or if I put it in environmental department, with these radiations and stuff, or if I put it in health, family welfare. So each of them, they are closing, so they are not giving me away. And we have a group of people, like, 50, 60 people targeted people. They're all trying, but same thing is happening. So I directly then, because I have formed an NGO, I asked this the officer, Bindu Tiwari, to talk to me, and she's not coming online. Her all day, every day, I am calling a few days, and they're not coming online, and then over the phone. And some of the folks that they take my email, because I pick forward that email. And then after that, they lift the phone, they take the phone, they receive the phone, and they're not talking. So they're giving a hard time. I mean, it's a known thing they're not doing. Either like they have categorized as psych or something, or for whatever reason they're not taking call. But let's say if we go in person, what will happen? But you see, there will be a lot of secretaries under the Home Ministry. If we go there, then which office and which, again, it will be difficult. It is better to trace through the phone as to find out who it is. When they are responsive, then we can go in person. But that's also not happening. So that's up with the reach out. So, so I made a video of my legs burning a couple days ago in October 2020. About the legs breaking, and then what kind of a wraps that I do to protect myself, at least for my conscience, whatever I could protect, and then I go to sleep. But the thing is, the torturers, they are using for anything to produce, and then their device, they use the electricity, and they just hide the potential. So in other words, these energies are capable of hurting us, and these torturers, they can use it to, no matter what we do, how much we protect, they could hike up the potential to bring the effect of how much ever they want to cause to our body. They have a set days they're going to let us live, and after that, like, okay, hey, all this sucking that they do, or the timing, or doing all kinds of stuff, they're letting us know, oh, we are letting you live this far, and, we have the ultimate control, the death. They can bring it at any second. So that's how they are. And so, this is a video that I have made. So, folks, you can go see that video. And in that video, I also talked about, my lower abdomen was itching and scratching and stuff. When you burn your like, you feel like scratching. If you scratch, the skin will start peeling off. You have to know a lot of things. The burning means you have scars, burn scars, and there's a lot of itch, and you want to scratch, and if you scratch, the skin will come off. Sometimes it may bleed, or they have already burned it to the level that it's bleeding, or they have already drilled into the body so much that it's bleeding. So there's all kinds of crap going on. But this one,
Sister,
something I
wanted to add this real quick before I forget. I don't know if you remember on the last call I brought this up with my mother. When I was younger, she used to get this really bad itch on her legs, and she used to scratch it to the point where she would bleed. She still has the scars on her legs to show when she used to get this really bad itch. So I was just thinking to myself, could it be that they were microwaving her legs too from back then?
Don't. Yes, that is true, but don't use the word microwave, because they use different energies. This baking is not necessarily microwave. I don't know. It feels different. So just don't use the microwave. That's all. But yes, your mom, that might be. If you could send me some pictures of those things, I can tell you. Yeah, and they do the burning of other people as though like 3 pills they have been to somebody. Like some of our team members. This is what they do. It's very sad. Okay, R.T. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay. Yes. So we have On October 15th, we had a 75th session of United Nations. United Nations, they address a lot on human rights violations all over the globe. They talk about it. So they do have special reporters. One such person called News Nazar, he reports on our, we have reached out. I think in the United Nations, the targeted individuals group is led by Mark Magnus Olson. He is, trying to mediate our issue to the United Nations through the Snauzer. Um, and we have also sent our reports, it is one of our teammates we have sent because they request us, all of us, to send in on the UN's webpage, to which we have sent. There was an interim report by Neil Snauzer in July 2020, and we read that. It's available on the United Nations website. We have talked about these, neuroscience and the bio weapons kind of things that he had talked about. So in this annual report, we were very eager to see what he's got to say. So his report has been sent out. If you just type undocs.org/a/75/179, that's the document that you get. That's the July 2020. It's his report. So now he presented it, and this time he has said that it is not that these structures, these are all done by government and the public, and evidence that is that those all can be proven, but the government doesn't want to see the proof. So it is not by the lack of the proof that we are not able to, come out this torture stuff. He words it as a willful ignorance by the departments, the government, and the power is what is not covering, what is, closing this torture. This is going on, and he asks that this action needs the absolute disclosure. The department shouldn't be behaving just in their best interest or their immediate stakeholders' best interest. So they should be. It should start from being transparency is very much needed. So this is what he has presented. You guys can go ahead and go and look into it. But he has tried to present that those cases are going on, those things are there. He didn't use the word a targeted individual, but they use a very high level of the language, not giving the details out. For example, the one that this top is special reporter on torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. That is what is the title of this report. So in the United Nations, this happened on October 15th in New York. We were listening to it. We were waiting for his report. And we listened to all other topics. They talked about mostly on COVID-19, just, how they are handling and stuff, but, not necessarily some of the reports that occur in the United States, African Americans and other folks. There is evidence that, this COVID-19 has been affecting people, discriminatorily. They do not talk into those things, you see. So that they don't talk about our targeted individual stuff that deeply. They're at a very high level, meaning, they are having the funds of that same country and they cannot talk back to them or something. So the reports come out to be at a very high level. Oh, something is happening there, So that's how it goes. I just wanted to mention that. So you guys could reach out to Magnus Olson, and his team to see how in depth that he's referring to him, and you're welcome to reach out to him.
Mr. Saroja, If you wouldn't
Yes.
mind reading an excerpt from that speech where that girl was reading from regards to the psychosocial torture.
Let me see. So in his interim report, it says interim report of the special reporter on torture and other cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment, measure. That's the topic. He says psychosocial factors conducive to torture and ill treatment. In his summary, expresses the root causes of the current worldwide complacency with regard to torture and ill treatment based on well-documented biopsychosocial patterns of self-deception and denial, and recommends the urgent and proactive incorporation of his science-based conclusions into ongoing policy-based global governance reform processes, including the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This is what he's saying. He's saying that these are self-deception, these are the denials that are using. And what we have is a science-based conclusion, but yes, the denial is policy-based global governance. You see, policy-based global governance. So the folks, other than non-targeted individuals, you would have to see this, that our tortures and all, they're all like science-based, and they have the proofs. Of course, they have the proofs. They're very easy to see. You can see the brains and stuff. But this is because of the denial by the powers. This is because of the policy-based global governance is what they're handling and they're denying. At least this thing has been happening. Even the last time report targeted individuals were eagerly waiting, but it was at the denial phase. But one of our targeted individuals, Mr. Mukherjee states that at least this level, with the measures effort, it is at least has stepped up to saying policy-based, global governance reform is needed, or we do have science-based conclusions on these cultures. And that 2030 agenda probably has this as part of something, and for sustainable development. That's what United Nations has this goal, and they talk about. So these are the part of this probably is part of that agenda, 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Lot of targeted individuals they suspect all these terminologies misuse, and even what they are doing is not necessarily opposing the human rights violations, goes the body, where the world thinks that, there is a United Nations office. If you have something with them, go see them. Okay, they will address it. They will see you. If they're not seeing you, that means you may not have it. That kind of understanding from the general public, that needs to be taken off. UN is under the funding of certain countries that they cannot talk back. All these relations, what they have over there, it's like if we want to go to the temple, I cannot see the God because the priest doesn't let us see. That sort of thing. So we had high hopes. We were talking. We have given a lot of reports. Brazil has a lot of reports. UN gets a lot of reports from decades ago. They are getting those kind of things, but obviously they are not nailing it. They are not saying it outright. And then governments, even if they say, many of the governments, are they willing to implement it, take it, own it up? No. Because you see, if the governments own it up, then it comes down to like all men are equal. They have to work just like everybody else too. But having this control, kill some people, cunningly, or take some people's jobs and give it to some other people, this kind of a rhythm they are creating, that's how they're building this economy and the social status. That's what these governments are into. By accepting this, and they will have to take that off, and then that means they have to work just like everybody else. If they don't want to, then that's it. Some basic factor that comes in here. Which is very shameful. This needs to be go on. We have the United Nations like 75 years addressing and all that, but you know, with these kind of tortures and these bioweapons or neuro weapons or radio frequency weapons, where they have direct control over our mind or the body organs or our particular skin or my speech or all of me, all of my senses, but they can really control and tweak and kill and all that kind of stuff. Yes, some governments working on it or providing these weapons to these other developing nations. So this is helping create bad human rights. Then, if we didn't have these weapons and stuff, meaning these governments are putting these weapons into the hands of developing nations, police, and governing body, surveillance body, and now it is becoming global a phenomena, and that means the human rights have been at its worst than ever. Because for my socioeconomic background, I shouldn't be seeing any such thing. For my abilities and the work that I have worked in the United States, they used us giving a visa and then giving us freedom to do anything. Okay, I can buy a car, I can take any house in the country, blah, blah, blah. But yes, I'm under their own nose, and then they keep touching and snipping our nerves and, taking our muscles out, cutting our muscles, burning our every day, burning our bikini areas and private areas. What the hell is this? And this, United Nations can't even talk in deep. So, folks, the world is not what you think it is. The wars now, there are not much of a active wars now. That Afghanistan war, they are backing off, but active wars. But these countries who are actively, they want to be on the superpower and they want to lead, and their currency has to be sweeping other nations' currencies and the works and services and products. These people now are engaged in a different sort of a war. This is targeting using these neuro weapons, bioweapons, and then it is right into their own home, and they follow everywhere we go. Certain individuals they are tackling. This is very bad. So the war has gone in this direction. And in India over here, I get the victims, like they're basically in their 20s. They just finished their graduation or they're ready to finish, and these people have started to carry a white physical structure, but they are not able to study and finish the class. I did have one glimpse of what that need to care. Oh my God, it's horrendous. If you have that in your brain, somebody's yelling and talking, there is no way you can talk to a real person who's next to you. It's this technology which uses the artificial intelligence, supercomputers.
To clarify something, because I don't want people to walk away thinking, it's only voices that start, audibly going into your ear and yelling at you. Although that is partially some of it, there is a voice to skull that is the silent sound spread spectrum, which is basically hearing your own voice, the same voice that you hear when you read a book to yourself in your mind. Okay? I just wanted to make sure that we clarify that due to the fact that people may confuse what you're talking about as only that being voice to skull, where you're hearing people talking in your ear, yelling at you, trying to, put you down, harassing you in that way. You know what I mean? That's a very, very harmful and horrific way to live. I can imagine that. Now, the silent sound spread spectrum, like I said, difference of that voice to skull, or synthetic telepathy, as it's also called, is the voice, your inner voice, as I said, the same voice that you hear when you read a book, your own voice. So that's why people think that when you say, oh, I feel like going for a walk, you will hear your own voice saying that, but it's them using the silent sound spread spectrum technology, implanting that thought in your mind. By the way, I heard a siren just go off a few seconds ago when we started talking about this. You already know, sister. Pardon me for interrupting. I just wanted to make sure that I clarified that. Sister, I have one question so we could close the call. So that way we don't make it too long. Let me see. Okay, so the viewer's asking specifically, Sistah Saroja, what exactly do you feel is being used on you when they use the directed energy weapons? For example, do you think it's satellite based? Do you think it's ray guns that they have, like little miniature guns? I think. Do you think it's a part of HARP? They put here HARP. Gwen Towers. When I didn't read what it said there too good. That's why I'm stumbling on the words, because the way they wrote it seems a little bit. Okay, so Gwen Towers, or do you feel that these are all frequencies that they throw back at you after they record them off of us in different moments? And, oh man, I don't know. Where is this going? Hold on a minute. Okay. I'm going to try to reanalyze this and try to put myself in what they were trying to ask you as far as posing the question. I think what they were trying to ask you, the first part of the question is pretty clear as far as what you think it is that they're using on you, as far as the directed energy weapons. But then they were going into the mind control technology. So what I think they were trying to ask you, sister, was, do you think that they record our brainwave patterns through our emotions, and whenever we're upset, sad, angry, feeling lust, or we're feeling happy or sad, or whatever it is, they'll record those particular emotions at different times, download it to their superhuman computers, and then play them back later to us. And then we would feel those same feelings that we were feeling at those moments and put us in those moods. I think that's what they're asking.
Yes. And I think there was some third part of it. The question was very clear to me. So what I'm getting is it satellite based? I'll tell you, it is a mix of all. Okay, the effect is from all different angles. This is what I said. One is they have your biomarkers, they have your GPS trackers, that for your eyes and blah, blah, blah. So they are using the satellite, but then the handheld vehicles are also they are using. And so I feel the brain waves that they send to my brain, I can feel them. And, so because of that, I always cover my head with some kind of mesh paper. And that what happens is that with that, wherever the mesh paper blocks it, there's only probably less percent goes in there. Like a less percent meaning only 10% can go in there when I have that. And then the rest of the body, which my disc didn't cover, absorbs it. And so whatever they send it to me, and I can even feel the absorption part also, I can feel. So the torturers, this is a military grade. This is what I am saying. So they are using all the things. They are using all the things that we talked about: radio frequency, microwave, infrared. All of them they are using at any given point of time. And that is what we call it like a program prescription. How much to do, what to do, it's ongoing. Somebody is telling them, because some days it is very, very high and action, and maybe some days it is less. But nonetheless, because I keep on reporting what I have, so it is a little bit reduced, I can say, but the hunting is like, I cannot, when I cover this, I cover that, my God, nonstop and restless. So their torture is very, very much, and they do all sorts of things, not just one thing. They use the supercomputers. They use our basic brainwaves. So for that to do, not only the paralyzed, there is a person I can feel where he is, and I can like on the telephone we have these some applications where we can see that who is hacking it. Which is building somebody's there. That's the tower, like there's an artificial tower that we show that somebody's tracking it from there. And then there is somebody like, the guys also they come around because they have to come closer to me to get my brainwave pattern. I do see them coming in because mine is kind of dead end and I can see. But I cannot tackle them. In other words, these people hire some people very systematically, the neighborhoods and our neighbors they hire to do all these things. There's a person across, there's a person in the next door neighbor here, this angle and that angle, and that shows that it's multiple. And I wonder, first of all, I have not done any such thing. And these things of these tortures, and now I go back and I see them. They are doing it when I was 40 or when I was 8-year-old, when I was 10-year-old. So they've been doing this. So this kind of surveillance or the war has been going on for many years, folks. I am just have learned. I'm like 50-year-old, so I know that this has been going on this far, and they are actively doing. So how much money they must have put in to do all these things, And then somebody is like, oh my God, it may not be true. Maybe, you might have to find something. Let me tell you, this is all physics-based, meaning just the physical waves. They don't cost much to concentrate. It's abundant waves. The sunlight spectrum has that, so it is abundant. And they're simply using, electric device which just corners into particular waves, a particular kilohertz of a wave, to produce all these things. So you don't have to think, oh my God, there's a lot of money spending. No. A single device, a gizmo, which is just, you can hold it in your palm, or it's just probably a couple inches by a couple inches, that could hurt many people around you. It could cause you death. So that's how sophisticated these devices are. And the physics, the technology is not that complicated. Physics is very simple. These are simple rays. They affect your body. Your body knows about all these waves already, but it works with only certain, magnifying level. But then these people, crooks, to affect us, they go into different magnitudes, and then they hold it at us. Our body cannot take. Our skin gets frayed, our mind, height and weight gets shrunk. My eyes get, they get poked at, or my eyesight, they affect, they hurt my hearing when I was way younger old. So this is how they're enslaved, folks. I hope I answered this question. I think.
Yeah, I believe you did. There's one more question here, if you wouldn't mind answering, sister.
Okay.
Okay. And the question is as follows. Where? Oh, wait. Okay. PMP1. Where do you think they're harnessing the energy to use these directed energy weapons on us? Do you feel that they're using the electromagnetic field and they're manipulating it towards us? Or do you think it's another source of energy? That's the word that we're trying to. Okay. Yeah, that's what I think.
So I answered that question already. This is something you don't need to worry about. It doesn't take much. The sunlight already, what we see is a visible part, which is only probably, like 1/20th part of the sunlight. Sunlight has all these energies. They are all around us. These waves and they're all around us. They're just focusing and creating. It doesn't take much. You don't need to get into that kind of thing. It's very simple. Just like how one single ray, if you pass through a simple prism, there is no chemical action, nothing. How it spreads across all your frequencies and stuff, it is that simple. Physics is very simple, so no need to worry about that. There are low frequency, high frequency stuff. You don't need to worry about that. That's not a big of a deal. If I wanted to do it, we, in a simple lab, we can create all these weapons, and which is available on YouTube. If you go type a lot of these things, a lot of the garage-based labs, they can create this. This is a very simple. These are energies abundant. Asking that question would be very simple, and you guys don't focus on it. How they do, what they do. It's silly. It's very simple. The question should have been, we should not have been doing. And this is a crime. And how come our government as officials or the departments are not resisting it as a crime? You see, because it's remote and so they have a hard time to find it. No, if we make a detectors and we would be able to find it, they do have a Department of Environment and stuff like that. So it's willful ignorance, and they're saying that they cannot. But yeah, they have departments, and if we want to, we can all track these and who's doing and all that. If the government changes the mind and to see who, they can do it. We can do it. It's not a big deal. We can do it. So I have this one bug detector. I'll tell you. This is a TechnoView. TechnoView bug detector device. It does the artificial intelligence detector, the frequencies and stuff. It can do anti-screenshot, anti-tracking, anti-listening, anti-radio. So it's just the government is blocking, but this whole thing is a real business here. This is a real business. Some people are, trying to be the kings and queens, and then other people, they are taking their jobs away, or they're killing their body, and they have already killed many people. They're not letting some of the Indian kids graduate. They're tackling. Or some of us, when we go to these foreign invested companies, then their mouth doesn't listen, or your mind doesn't listen to you, or the people around you are smirking for you as though they know stuff. That all can be done by these perpetrators anyway, which we know, but general public doesn't know. So it's the government which is hiding all this. It's creating such a it's very simple. The energy is all over abundant.
And a final question, because I figure we got a little time left over. Sistah Saroja, do you feel grounding is effective? You put in parentheses, earth grounding.
Well, I don't know that. See, what happens, these people, since these invisible radiation, waves, they are very old when they can, the sun rays, these individual radiations, they pass through the walls, they pass through the metals, they pass through your body. Okay? So, if such is the case, I am told, at least my brother suggested that, someone suggested me because they studied about it. They are saying, don't do that. Don't use the slippers or something between you and the ground. Don't do the grounding. Because once you ground, whatever they're holding, it directly then grounds you straight to the ground. Instead of your biological flow, this energy will make you that flow, like as though the current is passing to you, the earth is sucking and those people are releasing. You are a transfer, you become a media for that. So conductor, so they just don't do that, because some of the soft tissue, soft organs, they do not take it. They will quickly get into cancer, some stuff like that. So block it. Whatever they are putting it on you, just block it. Just block something to the ground, like put a slippers on or something, so that whatever is there is just there in your body to some extent, and however it goes, let it be, but don't ground it. That is what thing I told me. But however, if Tyler and individuals become much more smarter, like put a few layers, one layer for the grounding, and another layer you use some other blocker, like some metal, according to our ancient history, there were 5 metals together can fight these things. We have a pancha dhatu, pancha loha. meaning 5 metals. I think when that combination of that, I think that has a fighting capability, but I have not explored or done anything on that matter. But if you guys have something like that, and do it selectively so that some part you do, but some part you protect it from you becoming a conductor.
I don't think that, Sister Saroja, I don't think that it's the same thing, but it makes a lot of sense what you just broke down. But what they put in parentheses was earth grounding. I think like going barefoot out in the grass and the dirt is what they were referring to. Is that the same thing that you're saying, or is it different?
Oh, yeah. Occasionally you can go onto the, put your feet onto the ground so that you get discharged. That's fine. But on a daily basis, if you feel that which you are that time you are you are getting energy, but when they are energizing you, you can feel it. That you can even hear some noise also when the energy is around you. And some of the videos have already caught that up, and they can show you. Or even some of my videos, I have shown how the energy is around me. So, as an individual, if you feel that's going on, that time I'm saying, don't be barefoot. Put something on. Don't get yourself like don't make yourself a conductor for that energy to flow through you and to go ground it to the ground. So don't do that. Put a barrier between you and the ground, and that your soft organs, for example, the ovaries in the female or the testes part of the men, they're all very soft tissue. They get affected. Okay. So protect them, please.
Okay, that makes sense. That sounds good. Sister, I wanted to ask you a personal question from myself in regards to your latest video where you're wrapping your legs with sticky paper. Does that work at all for you? Does that help you in any way? I'm assuming it does, but I want to hear it from you specifically on how exactly, if it does work for you, how does it work for you? Because from what I noticed, it just shows your skin color, your tone of your skin, which is the original color of it being lighter or what have you, and then the bottom part being darker. So that's what you're displaying. I'm assuming the colorization of or the pigment of your skin getting darker through the directed energy weapon attacks. And that's what you're trying to show with that? I'm not sure if that's what it is. That's what I'm asking you.
In the daytime, I won't be covering, so there are already burnt marks on my legs, tibia, all over. So I cover them. Is it helping me? It is helping me to the extent that whatever they do, the touch to the skin directly, I'm stopping. So the wound that they make is less. So I believe because of the way that I was tying up with many, many, many layers, they were not, even with the energy, they can toss off your bedding and your clothing and all that. They can do it just like that. I know that. But I have been covering with many layers that they cannot do, so they are not able to do it like a fresh wound per se. And maybe because of that, they have moved now to, instead of burning at a single spot, now they have gone to like baking, overall baking, meaning they are baking my legs, meaning they're putting me in an oven where my wrap up, it's like instead of focusing on one point, entire leg, knee, they are baking. And it's like, now I'm not burning per se, like at the skin level, but it's a different kind of a baking that I feel, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it. So that tells me that I have tackled some of their issue, and they have now moved to a different level. And that sticky tape, when they beam onto it, in the daytime, I can see them beaming me. It's hurting me, my sticky tape, but it is not piercing through the sticky tape. I can feel them. And when they do it, and then they go to the next higher level of beaming, that also I can feel. So yeah, sticky tape helps. So that's why I'm doing. But at least it's my same way of protecting myself before going to bed. And before I'm being, my conscience being hijacked. At least for my mind, okay, I've protected my content, and then I will rest up to whatever, So it is protecting somewhat. But however, you have to see that the sticky is not the solution. You cannot put that one 24/7 because the skin needs to be breathing. If your skin doesn't breathe, then it then takes a different sort of characteristic. Then it thinks that it's like inside a skin, and it starts making the gel kind of stuff, and then then the skin will be easy to peel off and stuff.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's
I figured that you'd be doing some damage internally because the skin is the biggest organ in the body and it needs to breathe.
Yeah.
So I figured that you would know what you were doing by temporarily doing that. You don't do that too long, right? You probably just do that for the time frame that you're sleeping.
all night, basically all night. They take as soon as they lay down, they hijack, and then the early morning. And the daytime, I eat it off. So what I do the daytime is that I have long clothing, like surrounding clothing, like Indian kind of a clothing, like a nightgown kind of stuff. And then to that, I put a plastic around it so that my screen is breathing, but I still have a plastic layer. So that's another way I am protecting in the daytime these days. So for all these reasons, I have stopped working outside, I'm just protecting my body, which is very shameful for humanity, And then they don't let us go and see anywhere. Meaning they're cornering our lives. They're cornering that this matter shouldn't be out there into the public. Whoever I speak to, wherever I apply, or whoever I send my email, they're all already against us. They cover that up so that my actions do not go further and the general public doesn't get affected. This is what is called gang stalking.
You already know, Sistah Saroja. That's a CIA term. Gang stalking was created by the CIA to discredit us. So the actual term is organized stalking or stalking by proxy or cause stalking. Just wanted to make sure that that gets put documented on the call so people don't get it twisted or confused, whatnot. I appreciate you. As always, Sistah Saroja, this is your call. We've come to the end of this call right now, so you can pretty much close it and whatever else you want to say. You got the floor, sister.
Okay. Thanks for giving me a chance. It is very bad that I'm targeted individual. I have the educational background, the medical background, so I can put it nicely to the folks that they can understand. From this 75th United Nations gathering, now they have termed this as a willful ignorance in scientific evidence against crimes, the tortures, or the human rights violations are going on, but it's a willful ignorance. That's what the general public should know. And the war, in other words, the war of different kinds, what you knew has turned into different thing now. The police cars are right there, parking their cars in our own areas. And a very nice guy, young guy, who's like 20-year-old, who doesn't know anything. But he's there to intimidate everybody, but he doesn't know. Meaning the governing hands have changed their ways now. They're into our lives, they're into our body, they can control our own nerves, me or my brain or my hearing, my eye, my ear, everything they are controlling. So this is very bad. It's very bad. So I'm reaching out, but I do not know how it's going to end. However, instead of fighting as an individual, we have formed the society or the NGO. So that we are doing, but even that reach out, the government is denying or closing the cases and stuff. So I don't know how much long the targeted individuals can take such things and the general public, how they are benefiting. And we didn't even touch about these gene manipulator, CSSR, the gene manipulators. All this meeting and stuff, you guys are thinking, okay, I didn't link you. I'll tell you. The genes, the genetic material, the messenger RNA or the DNA, it works at certain temperature, like boil at 60 degrees centigrade and then cool off at 90 degrees centigrade and cool off. That's how it works. And these people probably are doing that when you're sleeping, meaning they're manipulating the genes, meaning they are deleting some gene part or, adding some stuff. So these people are really damaging that you guys don't know what all they are doing, okay? Because I have a background, I can grasp a little bit, but wait for maybe a few more years, you might be hearing a whole different kind of things. it's real stuff. Science is going to be evolving very much. So global governance needs to go to contain this one pretty soon. But I feel personally I will be sacrificing my child to my parents. They're all sacrificed. So that's why I'm just doing my videos to let folks know about it. But it seems very gloomy for us to get some solution. Okay.
Sister, and I'm sure that your loyal listeners, as well as the genuine EI/TIs that are out there that are going to listen to this call, also understand where you're coming from. We will not stop. We will continue fighting to the bitter end if need be. By any means necessary, this information will be continue to be exposed to continue educating other TIs that are coming up and to put our stories and document it out there as a digital footprint for once we're gone and buried and we're no longer here. Like I said before, others will learn from our experience. That's why we continue to do what we do. It's no longer just about us anymore. It's about the future generations. Try to help them prevent being targeted. That being said, this has been EMP1, a.k.a. Sistah Saroja and RTTI in New York City. Episode 6. We'll be back with another one soon enough. Stay tuned, y'all.